dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. Yes, that's my Christmas tree. Happy Christmas, everybody. And now, a review of Michael Connelly's The Dark Hours. Traffic on Sunset dropped off quickly once she made it through the Strip and into Beverly Hills. Even with all the clubs and restaurants closed down for nearly a year, the crawl of people cruising slowed things down. Ballard felt the temperature drop as she drove west. It was a clear and crisp night. She knew she'd have to put on the down jacket she kept in the trunk for long nights at crime scenes. The wind off the Pacific would chill the parking lot where she was going to meet the informant, and she didn't know if they would talk in the open or be in a car. It was said that anyone who wanted to know Los Angeles needed to drive Sunset Boulevard from beginning to beach. It was the route by which a traveler would come to know everything that is LA, its culture and glories as well as its many fissures and failings. Starting in downtown, where several blocks were renamed Cesar E. Chavez Avenue 30 years ago to honor the union and civil rights leader, the route took its travelers through Chinatown, Echo Park, Silver Lake, and Los Feliz before turning west and traversing Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, and the Palisades, then finally hitting the Pacific Ocean. Along the way, its 4 lanes moved through poor neighborhoods and rich neighborhoods, by homeless camps and mansions, passing iconic institutions of entertainment and education, cult food and cult religion. It was the street of 100 cities, and yet it was all one city, the city of Los Angeles, California, which very often and mostly is the place where the action is in Michael Connelly's work. Michael Connelly, one of the greatest living crime writers, and as many people say, the heir of people like Raymond Chandler and Ross MacDonald, who wrote about California and Los Angeles many decades ago. Michael Connelly has sold over 70 million books in his career. He started out as a crime reporter for the Los Angeles Times. Then he started writing several series of novels, the Harry Bosch novel being the most important and the most properly prolific one for him, the most well-known. With Detective Inspector, what is it in America? With Detective Harry Bosch of the Los Angeles Police Department, the LAPD, growing older with us, his readers and his followers. This is another Bosch novel, The Dark Hours, which is the latest novel by Michael Connelly, and it was published this year. It's a Corona novel as well as it's a police novel. It's a police procedural like almost all of the novels that Connelly has written about Bosch and about Renée Ballard. Renée Ballard, who seems to be some kind of heir to the throne of Harry Bosch, because someday we all who love Connelly have to, all we who love Connelly's work have to live with that. Someday, in one day in the future, we will probably have to say goodbye and cheerio and fare thee well to Harry Bosch. And I wonder when that is. This novel, which was published in 2021, is a Bosch novel, but it's more a Ballard novel. Renée Ballard is a female officer who works The Late Show, who works The Dark Hours in Los Angeles when everybody else is going home to their families and sleeps. Ballard is a lone wolf. She is working those night cases, preparing, sort of gathering the information, gathering the evidence at night from things that happened during the dark hours in the City of Angels and deliver them to the day shift on the next morning. But Ballard is always, she's very keen in solving crimes and bringing justice to the victims of crimes. So she's always trying to catch one or more cases that she should give to the people from the day shift, but she's carrying on and investigating those cases. And also in the dark hours, where she comes to a murder scene where a man has been killed on New Year's Eve, shortly after the new year of 2021 has started, a name called Javier, who was a former gang member of a Los Angeles Latino gang. And soon she finds out that he was killed with the same gun as a man was killed, I think 9 years earlier, when a certain Detective Harry Bosch was still in the force. And she contacts him, and the two of them work together, as they have done in a couple of cases now already. We don't have much music in this book, because usually when Harry Bosch is the main character of a novel, we have a soundtrack that you can... I write down the song, and like to write down the songs of a Connelly novel with Bosch, where Bosch is in focus, because it's a beautiful musical soundtrack. But this time we have almost no music, because Ballard is in focus. And she's investigating that case. Not only this case, but also the case of the Midnight Men, two rapists who invade the homes of single women in the Los Angeles area. And Ballard is also investigating this. She is surrounded by a lot of people who have different attitudes to policing than she has. And that's also something, I think, which is very imminent in the work of Michael Connelly, that he is sort of still believing that there are good cops. And I think there must be good cops in the force. But Connelly has shown us over the years and over the decades in his novels that there's a lot of bad cops as well in the police force. Many times we have seen the cops as culprits in his novels. And when I look at the impressive list of novels that Michael Connelly has published, always the titles are always very telling. The Black Echo, The Black Eyes, The Concrete Blonde, The Last Coyote, Angel's Flight, Void Moon, A Darkness More Than Night, City of Bones, The Narrows, The Lincoln Lawyer, which was the first novel with another of the main characters of Connelly's novels, the lawyer Mickey Haller, who is also the half-brother of Harry Bosch. I don't know if I like that, but it is the case. Echo Park, The Brass Verdict, The Scarecrow, Nine Dragons, The Black Box. Here we don't have Mickey Haller, we don't have the half-brother of Bosch, we have Ballard and Bosch, and we have also very little, I think only one or two mentionings of Maddie Bosch, the daughter of Bosch, who's now in her mid-20s, I guess. And also there I could imagine that Maddie Bosch becomes a future character to take over. I would love to have a Maddie Bosch novel, Michael, if you listen. That would be very interesting for me to have. He's very critical about the police. He's talking about George Floyd, and he's talking about a lot of policemen not wearing masks, refusing to wear masks, refusing to get vaccinated, whereas Ballard and Bosch are, of course, the cops on the good side. And this novel ends also with, there's no spoiler here, no big spoiler here. We have seen that before. It ends with Ballard leaving the police force, wanting to leave the police force because of all the things that happen, and then she gets, I think, a letter, and in the end someone says to her, if an organization doesn't change, it dies, and that's why I want you back. I need you to help bring the change. So Connelly's opinion, uttered through his characters, Ballard and Bosch, is that the necessary change of American policing can only come from within the force, but not only from the outside. The inside has to be a part of it, and that's, I think, something that everyone can agree upon. The Dark Hours, another 4 to 5 star novel if you look at crime novels, because this man knows how to create a plot, how to draw you into the action, draw you into his characters and into the night of Los Angeles, where we drive around with Bosch and with Ballard, mostly with Ballard in this books, from one scene to the next, from drive-ins, from restaurants and cafes to places where she gathers information, to the beach and inside the city again. So that is also something. Los Angeles is always there. Los Angeles is always around, which I think is a very fascinating thing. And and you also see that the former cop, the former police reporter, Michael Connelly, who worked as a police reporter for the Los Angeles Times, he knows what he's writing about, and he has a lot of contacts into the force, I guess, to get always the last procedural things that are important, because this is a procedural novel. And what means actually procedural novel? It is a novel where you can see from the beginning to the end, or where you can follow the police people, the police officers, investigating the case from the beginning to the end, and what they do and what kind of thoughts they have, the files that they are reading, the murder book. Everything is really closely connected to the everyday life of police in the US, at least. And you might ask also, is that realistic that there are two rapists who walk around and assault women? And unfortunately, yes, it is realistic. It's very seldom, apparently, but it has happened before. For example, I found the case of two British rapists, John Duffy and David Mulcahy, who allegedly raped 19 women in the 1980s in England, from December of 82 to the May of 86, until they were arrested. And this has happened before, and the novel is giving an example to that. It combines also the internet. So Michael Connelly is always up to date with what's happening in crime, and what kind of techniques and what kind of developments. And you always see also a picture of Los Angeles, but also in small, a picture of the time that we are living in. So this is, you might call it guilty pleasure, but it's a very good and entertaining read to sit down with a Connelly book. Probably right now over Christmas, over the days between Christmas and New Year, and to just get lost in this action and to get lost in something that Harry Bosch is experiencing. So The Dark Hours is really another great read by Michael Connelly, and highly recommendable, because this guy simply knows how to plot a story and how to develop his main characters. I mean, I would say the development of the characters compared to literary fiction is minimal. So what kind of thrillers have you read during the year of 2021? What would you recommend us to read if we are looking for a great contemporary and recently published crime novel or thriller? Please let me know in the comments below. Tell me all about your experiences with Michael Connelly, also with the TV series Bosch that is on Amazon, I think. Let me know, and I see you soon in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.